Good evening. She was criticised for her lack of leadership at an NHS trust which failed to properly investigate the unexpected deaths of hundreds of vulnerable patients in its care. And tonight, Katrina Percy, the Chief Executive of Southern Health, has finally given in to pressure and resigned. But she won't leave empty-handed. She'll move to another role in the same health trust and keep her salary of more than £180,000. Here's Kate Bunkle.
It's impossible to describe it as a celebration, but today Dr. Sarah Ryan's campaign marked a small victory. She's pushed tirelessly for changes at Southern Health since her 18-year-old son Connor drowned at one of its care units.
A bit shocked, really, and surprised, a bit relieved, a bit outraged, all sorts, a mix of things.
Connor died at Slade House in Headington in 2013 after suffering an epileptic fit in the bath. 2 years later, it emerged that hundreds of unexpected deaths at the trust hadn't been properly investigated. Earlier this year, the Care Quality Commission issued a warning notice that it needed to significantly improve protection for mental health patients. But in June, it was announced that the Chief Executive, Katrina Percy, would stay in her job. This was her speaking to ITV Meridian last December.
So yes or no, are you going to resign?
My job is to lead this organisation, leading the many thousands of dedicated individuals who I'm very proud of, to make the improvements in the care that we offer and continue to offer very compassionate care to the people who are often very vulnerable.
So we'll take that as a no. We will watch with great interest how you continue to lead this organisation. Katrina Percy, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Today, though, came the news she had decided to step down. In a statement, she said, "I have reflected on the effect the ongoing personal media attention has had on staff and patients, and have come to the conclusion that this has made my role untenable. I have therefore come to the difficult decision to step down from my role as Chief Executive after 9 years."
I think it's about time. I think it's been a long time coming. I think it's been something that people have wanted for a very long time, and it's a shame it's taken as long as it has.
Outraged by the statement she's issued, in which she's sort of suggesting it's the press intrusion or probably our campaign that sort of led her to be unable to do her job, and no reflection whatsoever on the failings that she presided over.
Katrina Percy isn't leaving the trust altogether. She'll move to a new job on the same level of pay. Kate Bunkle, ITV News, Oxford.
Well, on to other news now, and the pre-inquest review into the 11 deaths following the Shoreham air crash has been postponed. The hearing was due to be held on Monday, the 19th of September. However, the West Sussex senior coroner has taken the decision to postpone, as the Air Accident Investigation Branch final report has yet to be published. A man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after a man's body was found in the street in Southsea. Police were called to Outram Road just after 8 o'clock this morning. It's not yet known how the man died. The road's been closed and a property has been cordoned off while investigations continue. A cash machine has been stolen from a convenience store during a ram raid in Wareham in Dorset. The glass window at the front of the Co-op store on North Street was completely smashed when a vehicle crashed through it just before 4 o'clock yesterday morning. Police want to speak to anyone who saw a khaki-coloured Land Rover. A man's been arrested after a standoff with police near Bognor Regis lasting almost 2 days ended peacefully. Emergency services were called to Harbour Road in Pagham just after 4 o'clock on Sunday, where a 72-year-old man was armed and using threatening behaviour. Emma Wilkinson reports.
Today, one police community support officer stands guard outside the house that was at the centre of a major police operation. Day and night, armed officers and police negotiators surrounded this bungalow, trying to coax out a 72-year-old man who allegedly had a gun.
Police were called here in response to an incident where a gentleman inside the property has made threats to a female. Ever since that time, there's been a long and complex negotiation which has taken place over the last 40 hours. It certainly is unusual and it has been very protracted, and our main priority was to end this as safely as possible.
The woman who lived here got out safely on Sunday. Fire and ambulance crews were here for a time this morning because the man allegedly threatened to burn the house down. But at 8:42 a.m, he finally told negotiators he was ready to leave.
A few minutes later, he walked out of this house and closed the door behind him. He didn't have a gun on him at that time, but a legally owned firearm and an air rifle were later found inside the house.
The man was arrested on suspicion of threats to kill and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. It brought to an end a lockdown of this street. Many haven't left their homes for 2 days.
They've been trying to communicate with him through tannoys, and we've heard all of that in the bedroom through the night. And you're glad, relieved in fact, that it has happened peacefully and nothing dramatic has happened in terms of entering the house. Because you feel for the guy.
Officers have thanked the community for their patience. It was a bank holiday few here will forget, but the overriding emotion is relief that no one was hurt. Emma Wilkinson, ITV News, Pagham.
On to some more news in brief now, and a consultation is underway on plans to reorganise local councils in Dorset. Proposals include the possible merger of Bournemouth, Poole, Christchurch and East Dorset authorities. The aim is to save up to £89 million. The number of diabetes-related amputations has reached an all-time high of 20 a day. This is nearly twice as high in parts of the south compared with the rest of the country. Christine Bartlett from Southampton has been raising awareness.
Once they're told that you are diabetic, the one thing you've got to make very sure is that you eat properly and eat sensibly, such as the cereal in the morning and a snack during the day, which is mainly either connected to vegetables or fruit. And then the time you take all of these, you should take them at the same time every day. That's very important.
It's almost 2 decades late, but today rail passengers from across Surrey and Sussex started using the new London Bridge station. Originally called Thameslink 2000, the project was meant to open in time for the new millennium, but it won't be fully completed until early 2018. Our transport correspondent Mike Pearce reports.
The new London Bridge station open at last, or at least the first 3/4 of it. This is a project promised in the days of British Rail, then delayed over cost and plans to make it bigger. The station is vast and when it's complete will have a concourse the size of the Wembley football pitch.
It has been a long time coming. Originally this was called Thameslink 2000. But the problem is that these sorts of projects are enormously challenging and very, very difficult to do. So they take a lot of planning so that you can do it in a way which minimises the disruption to people. 50,000 people every day use this station, so rebuilding it at the same time as providing a service for them is very difficult, but we're very proud of what we've done.
So what's the reaction from passengers? Well, most said they liked it, but there is the odd complaint.
So you'd expect to see a clock on the departure board?
Well, you'd like to know what time it is, wouldn't you? It tells you all the stations it goes to, but there's no clock there to tell you what the time is now. Pretty good.
For their part, Network Rail say there are clocks on all the other departure boards.
It's nothing like the train station I used to use in the 50s.
I mean, how bad did it get here?
Oh, frightening sometimes, with the amount of people.
Cramped, yeah.
It's pretty good actually, I was surprised. It's quite impressive.
It's stunning. It feels as though we've now got stations to rival anything in Europe and they just look brilliant.
But the work is far from over, and until Friday Cannon Street is closed. Then Cannon Street trains don't stop here until 2018. Passengers have to find alternatives.
I have to get to underground, and
that's just because the train doesn't stop here?
Yeah, because it doesn't stop here. Yeah.
And is that disruptive for people?
Yes, of course.
The big test will be next Monday when everyone's back at work after the holidays. And the station has to deal with its usual 50,000 daily passengers. Mike Pearce, ITV News, London Bridge.
Well, time now to take a look at the weather forecast with all the details. Here's Helen.
From cold fronts to camping, driving through Europe, Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Hello there, very good evening to you.
Well, spectacular views of the night sky pretty much across the board this evening. Holding on to those clearest skies longest furthest to east, but by dawn you can see a little bit more in the way of cloud creeping into western parts. All in all, mild enough though. Overnight lows of 13 to 14 degrees. And by dawn tomorrow morning, well, you can see that cloud making headway. 1 or 2 outbreaks of rain possible as they track east across the region. They'll be fairly light and well spaced though, and if anything, into the afternoon, it'll continue to brighten up once again. That little bit cooler tomorrow though, highs of 22 degrees, but pleasant enough before the end of the day. Bye for now.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Well, that's it for now. We're back during Good Morning Britain from 6 o'clock tomorrow. Join us if you can. But from all of us here, good night.